There you go. Good. All right, I won't take it off the screen again until you're done copying this down. You've already got step one, and you've already got step two. But what I'm trying to do there is the red one, I'm basically wedging it in between. I tried getting away with calling it step 2.5. That just wasn't working for most people. So I thought, let's just redo it. By the way, let me pause while I say this real quick. The mistake I made second hour was not teaching enough of this. I just cut them loose, and boy, I wish I had that back. I'm gonna have to fix second hour tomorrow. The mistake I made sixth hour was after we talked about these steps, I had them get their Chromebooks out, and then I lose them. That's a rookie mistake. And it doesn't matter if they're teenagers or 40, 50-year-old adults. If you put a computer in front of a human, they quite often lose their ability to listen. And so that was my mistake. So we're all going to keep our Chromebooks put away until I feel like we kind of have some idea of how to do these four steps. And how much work we get done today is completely irrelevant. I've dedicated at least a couple days to this assignment. So you know, if we gobble up most of the time today doing problems, I'll feel fine with that as long as you can walk out of here and say, I'm understanding it better than I did earlier. That's the goal. Do you all have the four steps written down? Okay. So once we're done copying this down, I'm going to go into Delta Math and I'm going to click through problems until I get one that I think we should do together. And then you can add them into your notes if you want, or you can just sit and kind of ride along and vibe with us and like give input. I don't, whatever's going to serve you best, but that's my plan. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go into Delta Math. And so the way I see an assignment is different from you. So first off, this section that when later when you go in, this first section called multiplying powers, you should have had this section done last week. So I'm not going to go over those. This section called raising powers to powers, you should have had this one done last week. So I'm not going to go through those. The ones that you're going to be going through with me today are from this next section. And when you do get there later, you'll see it's called more difficult problems. And so let me run through some examples with you of problems that you're going to see. And I'm going to zoom in nice and far on this so that you guys can get a good look. Everybody good with that? So what I want to do with you, nice small class like this just shouldn't be difficult, is I want to run through the steps with you one by one and make sure you guys get the process. So what is step one?
Like copy bar.
Right. So tell me about the top. What could I do on the top? Nope. What can we do on the top?
No.
Nothing is the right answer. Thank you for that. And sometimes that's the right answer is to say, I acknowledge what step one is, but that doesn't mean I can do it. The top is done, guys. There's no distribution. There's no like termy things to put together. But the bottom,
Distribute.
I have to distribute. I have to do that power and raise it up to a power. So what I'm going to do when I do these problems is I'm going to just kind of keep copying things as I go. So the top, I'm just going to leave as 15q y to the eighth. But then the bottom, I'm going to rewrite because I'm doing step one. I'm fixing the bottom. So by the way, this exponent, the 2, does not go to the 3. In each class today, that's been a mistake that's been made is people try to distribute this exponent to this number. It doesn't work that way because it's not in the parentheses, okay? So the 3 just gets copied down. What
What-
is, go ahead.
Does it only get distributed if like 2 into the 3 if it's inside the parentheses?
Correct. So if I wanted you to distribute it, then this parenthesis wouldn't be here and it would be like over here. And then it would go, right? Make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. So what happens when the 2, the exponent, goes to right here? What do I get?
-2.
Yeah, so it's going to be y to the power of -2. You should stop me as often as you want today to say something like, can you explain this or this? But I'm done with step 1. Do you have any questions about that? Okay, what is step? Sure, of course.
Oh, wait, I didn't forget it now. Never mind.
I had no part in that conversation, but it was pretty rad. I'm glad I got to listen to it. So, step 1's done. What is step 2? And if you read it to me out of your notebook, that's fine. But I do want to get us all to the point where we don't need to keep reading it out of the notebook. What is step 2? Yeah, and I have been hearing some people throughout the day say move things that are negatives, and it's like, no, 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 you got to do better than that. Uh, when we say move things that are negative, they have to be negative exponents. And so what I would encourage you to do, I keep doing this, but I don't think I'm bossy enough sometimes with young people. I think you should like draw these like jelly beans like I do. And the reason I'm drawing that jelly bean is because it's going to draw my attention to something that has a negative exponent. And what am I going to do with that negative
Move it.
exponent? I'm going to move it up. If it's down, it goes up. If it's up, it goes down. So I'm going to pick up the y and his exponent, and I'm going to transport them to the top. Nothing else in this step 2 is going to move. The 15 is going to stay. The q is going to stay. The y to the 8th is going to stay. And this 3 is going to stay. But you'll notice there's a little void here next to the 3 because his buddy abandoned him. His homie, his y to the -2nd, left him, went upstairs, and became y to the +2nd. Do you have any questions about that step? And sometimes you'll see throughout the next 10 or 15 minutes, we have to move like 3 or 4 things. This one, we got kind of lucky. We just had one bad guy that we had to move. Yeah, and if it's in the top, you put it in the bottom and change the sign. But when we talk about negative, we're talking only about exponents that are negative. Like if this, I'm going to switch to green here. If this 15 had been a -15, I don't care about that. That doesn't count as what we're talking about. That's just old school. Good? Okay. Step 2 is now complete. What is step 3? The step 3 seems to be the one that I'm struggling the most to teach here. What is it?
Using both the top and bottom.
Right. So if you go across the top and the bottom now, you might find some new fires that you have to put out. And I see this. I'll put a red box around it for you. I see that after we moved the y to the power of 2 upstairs, he now has a buddy that he has to go with. That's what step 3 is all about, is find some new things that you can do before you try to get to step 4. So when you put the things in the red box together, what do you get?
Yeah. You multiply, right?
You don't.
No. Adam.
You add them. So
So
it's
y to the 10.
right. Keeping all your rules in check is why we practice. Like eventually you'll just not even think about it. But remember when they're side by side like that, you add the exponents together. If I wanted you to multiply them, then it would have been like y to the 8th raised up to the power of 2. That's not what this is.
Oh, that's right.
Well, it's because this is a multiplication problem, to be clear, but we don't multiply the exponents. We add them because it's a multiplication problem, which is really tricky. Is that your desk that's squeaking? Yeah, I'm gonna probably get rid of that one. So yeah. You switching it up? Thanks, man. I appreciate you. So here we are now, and the answer as it currently stands is over on the left-hand side. It's not over by his desk, it's on the board and it's on the left-hand side, right? And do you see anything else now that I can do to simplify? This is the step where we take the top and the bottom and we mash them together, like we boom, boom, boom. There's one thing we can do. What is it?
Reduce the.
You can reduce the fraction. The Q and the Y have nowhere to go, but we can reduce 15 thirds. What is 15 thirds? It's just 5. And so the answer is going to wind up being a 5 and a Q and a Y to the 10th like that. So when I go to type this in, I'm going to type in 5Q. And do you guys remember how to do exponents?
Shift 6.
So I'm going to do shift 6 and then raise it to the power of 10. And some of the answers that we do are going to be more complex than that. So let me see if I can find a new problem that's more tricky. No, don't love it.
What?
Gorgeous. This is a nice problem. This one's a tad bit of a dumpster fire, and I thought that this would be good for us. So let me scroll away from it here. And can I make this even bigger? Oh, yeah. Sweet action. So feel free again to come along. And let's see if we can map this one together. If you follow the 4 steps, it's not that hard. So be a part of the conversation. It's easy to just sit and wait for your classmates to answer questions until the annoying man shuts up. But the more you talk, you'll get more out of this time together. So what is step 1? Nope.
Simplify.
Simplify. And that might mean looking for things that are the same. But I don't see any things that are the same. Like when I go across the top, I don't see anything that I can combine. But what I do see is some distribution that I can do. So I'm going to take this exponent of -2 and I'm going to distribute it in like this. Going back to my notes, I just thought I would show you that I did put in this that it's usually going to be distribution. What I'm finding with this is this step 1 is usually going to involve clearing out parentheses. So it's going to be that thing where you distribute an exponent in. I feel like that's going to happen more often than not. So what is my top going to look like now?
-6.
It is not -6. Listen, I have to stress this to you. Do not do the math when you exponentiate numbers like this. 3 to the power of -2 is exactly 3 to the power of -2. It is not -9. It's not -6. It's not what you want it to be. So when you do this, I would say just leave that alone. Just give it the exponent and look the other way, okay? But trust me on this one. What is the K going to have as his exponent? Thank you. Yes. Because he already has a 5 and he gets re-exponentiated with a -2. And we learned last week that that's when we multiply. And then on the bottom, we're not going to do anything. The what?
Oh, wait.
I just gave it the exponent that was outside. So I didn't do any math there. He tried to, but I kind of jumped all over him on that. Don't math at this point. Any number that gets an exponent, I would just give it the exponent and we'll talk about it later. For now, just give it to it and move on. Are you okay? You sure? Okay. Step 1 is done. Step 1 is where we clear all the parentheses and we make the top its best self and the bottom its best self. What is step 2? Moving. So I'm going to have 4 jelly beans to draw this time. There's going to be this one, this one, this one, and this one. This is not the most efficient way to do this, but I have found that it keeps us from having to do minus and negative problems, which they seem to be getting worse all the time. So this way here, I can always make sure I have positive numbers. So let's do this. Who do you want to move first? The 3 is fine with me. So what I'm going to do is over here off to the side, I'm going to build my answer like this, and I'm going to leave the 5 right there. Because he was someone that I wasn't going to move, so I can just copy him in. But it seems like you guys want to move that 3 first. So let's pick up the first red jelly bean and let's move it downstairs. And when it gets there, it's still named 3, but now it's 3 to the power of +2. When you move things, that's the fee that you pay as you change their exponents from negative numbers to positive numbers.
So the positive exponent, and we go to a negative exponent?
No, we don't move it if it's a positive exponent. We only move it if it has a negative exponent. If it's
Negative exponent.
yes, if it's positive, don't move it. Leave it. Like that's what we want.
You just don't want negative.
So now we're gonna move how about we move this K, the one on top. You like it? So let's take that K to the 10th and stick it downstairs like this. So you at this point would agree that the two red jelly bean looking things from the top have been successfully relocated to the bottom.
Yeah.
But now what do we have to do?
So
We have to take these two and move them to the top, upstairs. So this S is going to go upstairs and become S to the power of 5. And this K is going to go upstairs and become K to the power of 5. I literally cannot think of another way to teach this right now other than to just walk through these steps with you. Step 1, clean. Step 2, move things that are bad guys. Now step 3. This is the hardest one for me. Clean up any messes that you've made. And we have only made one, and it's in this red box.
it is.
That's a problem because it needs dealt with in that it can be simplified. What is 5 times 3 squared? It's not 5 times 3. Don't do that. It is 5 times 3 squared. 9 goes first, then you back times 5, and what do you get?
45.
45 is correct. Do not do 5 times 3. 3 squared goes first. So we're going to have 45 on the bottom. And it's time for, listen, I'm desperate, which is why these take so long right now. There's going to come a point, if you stay with me and keep doing this and work hard for the next couple of days, where you're going to do steps 2, 3, and 4 like all at the same time. You're going to get so good at this that you just won't even think about it. You just go boom, and you'll start seeing things. But for now, step 1 is done, step 2 is done, step 3 is done. It's time for step 4. And step 4 is where you do the downward mash, where you start putting things together that can go together. Does the S on the top have any S's on bottom to mash with? Then it's part of my answer. But the K's do. And how do we combine these two K's? Subtract the exponents. So I'm going to take the exponent on top, which is 5, minus the exponent on bottom, which is 10. And what is 5 minus 10?
Oh.
Yeah, I just can't live in a world where we say that 5 minus 10 is 5. It is negative 5.
I correct myself.
I'm not going to be there to correct you on a quiz or something like that. So you can't assume that I'm always going to be there to say something that will make you correct it. You have to correct it before it ever comes out. All right. So the fact that it's negative 5 means that I am going to put in a K, but I'm not going to put it, I'm going to put it K to the 5. And where am I going to put it?
On the bottom.
I'm going to put it on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
So my final answer is now ready to be stated. My final answer is going to say, okay, I'm going to erase a bunch of stuff now because I've got some clutter going on up here on the board. So I'm going to say my final answer is going to have an S to the 5th on top. It's going to have a 45 on bottom, and it's going to have a K to the 5th on bottom like that. And I'm done.
Is it because
That's so
there's going to be an exponent on each floor at the end, or what's the reason?
Like,
The one on the bottom is because of what's going on down here in the corner. Look at the two things I circled. 5 minus 10. What is 5 minus 10?
because of
So you said negative 5, but I'm not going to put negative 5 into my answer because then I'll just have to move it and fix it anyway. So because it's a negative answer, then we put in K to the regular 5, but we put it on the bottom of the fraction because it would have been a negative, and that's why he is downstairs. It has nothing to do with there has to be one up. Just don't make rules like that. Things are going to go wherever the problem tells us they have to go. Okay.
So is there That'll make us put it on the top.
Sometimes we'll have everything on the top, sometimes we'll have everything on the bottom, sometimes we'll have a little bit of each. Okay. If I was going to type this answer in, what I would do first is I would just hit the division sign on my keyboard. And what it does is it gives me a fraction like this where I can just start typing in. It's a lot better to do it this way. So I'm going to type in S to the 5th power, and then I'm going to go to the bottom of the fraction and do 45K to the 5th. Like that.
How's it gonna come
These
out?
are messy. Why am I confirming my school? I don't want to confirm my school. Yes, I'm good. Thank you. Did you guys all see that?
Yeah.
Just made me confirm my school. That was creepy.
Try school.
Oh, you guys like this one?
Yeah.
We could try
That's a
it.
little
I
too
feel
easy.
like we
should
could
go
try
with
it.
that.
I feel like
No,
well,
I
because
think it's too
we
easy.
need to try something. Sure, Faden.
I'm almost done. I'm trying to do something with your class that I didn't do with the other classes, and that is and there are a couple of you that I know just aren't listening, and that sucks. But like most of you, I think are a part of this process, and I'm trying to spend this time in the hopes that when I do cut you loose here in a few minutes, that when you get to your problems, it's not just like a sea of hands waiting turns to get help with their problem. I want you to feel empowered to say, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. That's the goal. After this, I'm going to probably do one more with you, and then I'm going to be done. So let's do this one together. What is step 1?
Simplify the group.
Distribute, right? That's a good way. And simplify is the right answer. But like I said, 99 times I feel at this point out of 100, it's going to be distribution. So let's just call it what it is. So how many things is this -3 going to distribute to?
3.
He's going to distribute to 3 things. He's going to distribute himself to the 2. And remember, we're going to learn from earlier. We're not going to try to say what this equals. We're just going to write it down. We're going to say, oh, that just equals 2 to the -3rd. Don't try to come up with what it is, okay? We'll worry about that later. And then it's going to go to here. And what's that going to become? It's y to the 15th, right? You're fine. 5 times 3. And then it's going to be n to the what? -12. And what I find with the computer program is that it keeps giving you either the top or the bottom that you can simplify, but generally it seems like it's not both. Just saying, that's what I've seen so far throughout the day. So the bottom, I can't do anything, so I'm just going to copy it down. What do we do now?
You have to move all the things with the exponents.
Anything that has a negative exponent should be selected and moved. Cut and paste. Not copy paste, but cut and paste. So like this 2 that I'm drawing a purple jelly bean around is going to be picked up and moved to the bottom.
The 6 stays there, right?
The 6 just hangs out. In fact, if you guys like this, and if you like this, and I kind of failed to do it this time, but based on what you're saying, you must like it. It's okay to copy the things down that you're not going to move. So like the things that I'm crossing out. So like y to the 15th has a positive exponent. So you're fine to just make a mess. Just copy him down. You're like, you're not going anywhere. I'll just copy you down. And the same for the 6. You guys were all over that. And the same for the y to the 7th power. You guys are all over that stuff. And so anything with a positive exponent just gets copied down. And again, you will get to a point where you will already be combining those y's early. Like I get that, but I'm not going there right now. So let's just be faithful to the process. Step 1 is done. Step 2, we're about to get started on. So I'm going to pick up the purple jelly bean and move it downstairs. And I'm just going to stick it right here. I could not care less what order you put things in right now. At this point, we're just in sandbox mode, making a mess. Throw them upstairs, throw them downstairs, whatever you got to do. So purple jelly bean has been moved. I'm going to cross him out. How about we move green jelly bean? Can you see that guy? That green's kind of weird, but you can see that. Let's move him upstairs. What does he become when he gets upstairs? Nice. So he's still n, but his power now is a 5. Good. And then I think the last one that we have to do is this this red jelly bean. And where's he going? Downstairs. Good. So step one is done. Step two is done. Step three is let's just go through and clean up any messes that we have to make or any messes that we've made. The only mess that I can identify in this case is that there's a 6 and a 2 to the third that need to be mathed. You really should math at this point. What is 2 to the third? And don't say 6. 2 to the third. Nope. Huh? 8 is great. Correct. 2 to the third is 8. So this one with the red arrow pointing to it is 8 because that's 2 times 2 times 2, right? So there's 8. And then if you take that 8 back, multiply by the 6, what do you get?
8.
8 times 6 is certainly not 8. 48. So our final answer, well, no. Our current answer, the current state of affairs, we have a 48 sitting right there.
Mhm.
And you should ask if you don't know how I got that, because you're just not going to know if you don't take the time.
Yeah.
So do you understand that this red or this purple egg over here is 2 to the third? And that is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And this 8 and this 6, they find each other. In math, things will find each other and they multiply, and that's where the 48 came. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy down all the other stuff. So remember, I had y to the 15th and n to the 5th on top, and I had y to the 7th and n to the 12th on bottom. And it's time to do the mashup. This is the step 4 where we trash compactor it from the top to the bottom. And you want to do it in order, like you should do the numbers first. But you guys all agree the 48 has no one up on top to go with, right?
Yeah.
So whether we like it or not, I don't know why we would not like it, but we don't have any say in this. There is going to be a 48 in our final answer, and it's going to be right where it currently is. So I like to build things. And so there is my answer. Now I'm going to fill in all the letters, the variables. Alphabetically is better, but honestly, at this point, that would be me splitting hairs. Which ones do you guys want to combine first, the N's or the Y's? The Y's are fine. The N's are fine. I can do Y's just because I heard you first. I like the N's because they're alphabetical. Thank you. But I did hear the Y's, so let's do the Y's first. This is where we do what with the things that I'm circling in red. What do we do with these two numbers? They're both on the Y's. What do we do? Nope.
Subtract them. Subtract them.
Subtract.
What?
And that was one of our 7 properties from last week. If you have the exponent on top and bottom of the same thing, you subtract to bring them together. What is 15 minus 7? All day long, and that is positive 8. So we're going to put in y to the power of positive 8, and we're going to put it on top because positives, when we have a choice, stick them on top. And we're going to now rinse and repeat. I'll use green this time. There's an n and there's an n, and their powers are 5 and 12 in order. What is 5 minus 12? It is definitely negative, and it is negative 7, correct? Just you acknowledging that it's negative means a lot to me, because you know what, at this point, like just to put the negative and then worry about what it is later is huge. But negative, good work. And so I'm going to put in n to the 7th, but where am I going to put it? On the bottom, but I'm going to put it as an n to the positive 7th. By putting it in the bottom, I'm accounting for the fact that it would have been a negative. That is it. Once you're done with step 4, you're done. Okay. I did want to show you one more thing. I'm sorry to have eaten up so much of your time, but I am just trying to help. You know that. There's a skill in here that looks like this. And you're going to run into some problems like this. And I want to be clear about something. I've long since exceeded the amount of time that I should still be expecting you to listen. But know this, that if you encounter a problem that looks like this, you know that 4-step process I gave you? There is no step 1, there is no step 2, there is no step 3. A problem that looks like this, you'll jump right to step 4. Basically, you're already at the end when you see a problem like this. So here we go. Help me reduce 45 and 18.
37.
What can you divide 45 and 18 both by? This is not a subtraction problem because they're not exponents. What can you divide them both by?
3? No.
Más grande. Ay, Dios, 5. 18 dividido por 5?
6.
Nothing.
Ay, caramba. No, no puedes dividir 45 por 6.
You have no clue what you're saying. You can
¿Qué es el número más grande?
6.
Sí, 9, gracias. Finally, you can divide 45 and 18 both by 9. So our final answer is going to look like this. 45 divided by 9 is 5. 18 divided by 9 is 2. And look, we're at the end now. You can just do your little subtraction gig. Let's do the x's. What is 3 minus 8? And since it's -5, I'm going to put x to the 5th on bottom. Now do it with your y's. 7 minus 2. What's 7 minus 2? +5. So you'll put your y to the 5th on top. I just wanted to show you that you're going to see some problems like that. I asked the computer to mix them all together. When you see one that looks like that, you're just to the end. Just mash it up downwards and you're good. I'm so sorry I took up a lot. Now it is time for you to get your Chromebooks out and go to assignment number, whatever it is, 16, I think, and click right into the 3rd section. No, I just added on to assignment 16. You should already have the first 2 sections of this done from last week. I just added on a big 3rd section.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave this recording going live so that if someone says, hey, can you help me with this problem? Then I can just throw it into the recording. I sometimes hear parents say that they appreciate the videos because then when their kids come home with homework questions, they can sit down and watch them. So I figure the more problems we can fit into a recording, the better. Right. So I'm going to get out of this and I'm going to go to class-wise. And in class-wise, what I can do is I can spy on your screens. And not in a bad way. I mean, this is nice because then when you have a question, you can say, hey, can you help me? And I can just pull your actual question right up onto the TV, which is totally nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and pause right now until someone asks a question.